Well, what are you most afraid of? In ghosts, darkness, or snakes? There are many kinds of fear in the world. For example, acrophobia, fear of heights, cynophobia, fear of dogs, Astraphobia, fear of thunder and lightning. But have you ever heard of Thalassophobia, fear of the sea? No, today is not about the fear of the sea, but we will talk today about a terrible monster, vampire. We are all familiar with the vampire, from various storybooks to movies, from Dracula 1931 movie to the Lost Boys 1987 movie, basically on this monster, vampire. The earliest reference we have to a vampire is from a text in Old Russian written in 1047 AD. Although people were afraid of vampires in ancient times, nowadays vampires are stuck in stories and movies. But today I will talk about two women whose career are like vampires, bloodsuckers. If you want to know that, stay till end of the video. So let's start today's episode, Two Real Life Vampires. The fear of the vampire is not new, it has a long history. The vampire legend is most commonly associated with Eastern Europe, particularly the Balkans, where it is said that after death the soul of a person comes out and does various evil deeds. People believed in this when medieval science was not so advanced. They thought vampires were the cause of various new diseases that were very terrible. The fear of vampires is a complex phenomenon rooted in historical, cultural, social, and psychological factors. But being addicted to blood is a strange thing for us, isn't it? The first vampire of our episode who was addicted to blood in large quantities, she is known as Elizabeth Bathory. Not only was she addicted to blood and drink blood, she bathed in blood. Elizabeth was born in 1560 on a family estate in Royal Hungary. As a child, Bathory had multiple seizures that may have been caused by epilepsy. At that time, there was no medicine or treatment for epilepsy. The only treatment for epilepsy at that time was to apply blood to the lips of a person who did not have epilepsy. Very strange method, isn't it? It is. Anyway, at the age of 13, before her first marriage, she gave birth to a child. The father of the child is a farmer boy. The child was given away to a local woman who was trusted by the Bathory family. On 8 May 1575, Bathory and Nadezhda were married at the palace of Varano. The couple had 5 children, Anna, Ursula, Catalin, Andres, and Paul. Nadezhda died on 4 January 1604 at the age of 48. Now here comes the real dark side. Elizabeth Bathory was accused of abducting and murdering hundreds of young girls between 1590 and 1610. The methods of torture and murder attributed to her include severe beatings, burning, freezing, mutilation, and starvation. Witnesses claim that she delighted in inflicting pain and devised numerous ways to prolong her victims' suffering. But why was she doing that? Although there is no basis for this, but according to some historians, she used to bathe in blood of these girls, and she would give those girls a painful death because she thought that the more painful the death of these girls, the better for her. Because according to her, bathing in their blood would preserve her youth. This is a myth, as it is not known exactly why she did it. Medieval people love pain, so maybe it's possible. Some historians suggest that the charges against Bathory may have been part of political conspiracy. Her wealth and influence made her a target for those who sought to diminish her power and seize her lands. Elizabeth Bathory and several of her servants were arrested. While Bathory was not formally tried due to her noble status, her servants were found guilty and executed. Bathory was confined to her castle and placed under house arrest. She spent the remaining 4 years of her life in isolation, dying in 1614. During the investigation and subsequent trials, over 300 witnesses testified against her. These witnesses including surviving victims, local peasants, and nobles. Some testimonies described how Bathory would bite the flesh of her victims, stick needles under their fingernails, and use hot tongues to burn them. After Elizabeth Bathory died, she was buried in the church, but under pressure from the villagers, her body was moved elsewhere. But where it is not known. The current whereabouts of her body are unknown. But according to historians, her body remains in the church. Elizabeth Bathory's story, including the mystery of her final resting place, continues to fascinate historians, writers, and the general public. The blend of documented history and folklore has solidified her status as one of history's most infamous figures. Now, after finishing the story of one vampire, let's talk about another. This woman was born long after Bathory. She is Enriqueta Martí. Enriqueta Martí, known as the Vampire of Barcelona, was a notorious figure in early 20th century Spain. She was accused of abducting, prostituting, and murdering children. Enriqueta Martí was born in 1868 in a town near Barcelona, Spain. Little is known about her early life, but she eventually moved to Barcelona and lived a life marked by crime and poverty. In 1895, she married a painter, but the marriage did not last long. According to her husband, she continued her prostitution, resulting in many men visiting her when she was not at home. So they separated, and they had no children. In 1909, Martí opened her own brothel, which attracted some of the more affluent in Barcelona, but some of them had a strange desire. They wanted children, so she started kidnapping to please them, while she prostituted those children. But at that time, she practiced evil medicine. She discovered that drinking the blood of children would prolong life and cure tuberculosis. She would make a potion by killing the children with their hair, bones, and blood. Tuberculosis was very dangerous at that time, so many wealthy families used to buy this medicine from her with huge money. Now you really know that no disease can be cured with this, but at that time people really did these things. They used to take this strange medicine. Day by day, the demand for this medicine increased and many people started using it. And surprisingly, she never stopped making this medicine. After nearly 20 years, the police noticed that many children were missing from the city of Barcelona. They began to investigate, and finally in 1912, she was arrested. Sensational information comes up in the hands of the police. On February 10, 1912, Enriqueta Martí committed her last kidnap. 2 weeks after the police found them, the child saw Enriqueta doing these feats. During the police search, they discovered another girl, Angelita, who had also been kidnapped. The police found a horrific scene with evidence suggesting that Martí had been involved in the kidnapping, prostitution, and murder of numerous children. Further investigation of Martí's home uncovered various human remains, including bones and hair, along with blood-stained clothing. This finding, along with testimonies from the rescued girls, confirmed the gruesome activities Martí was involved in. Additionally, the police found a collection of potions and ointments made from the bodies of her victims, which she told to wealthy clients, claiming they had magical and medical properties. Martí never stood trial for her crimes. On May 12, 1930, she was killed by fellow inmates. The exact details of her death remain somewhat unclear, but it is believed that she was beaten to death by other prisoners who were repulsed by her actions and nature of her crimes. So, the vampire you find in movies or storybooks is probably not this kind of vampire, but they were really addicted to blood. These are the real vampires in history. Be sure to let me know what you think about this. If you are new to channel and like the video, please subscribe. It helps me a lot. You can watch these videos. See you in the next video. Thanks for watching and have a good time.